Well, all good things must come to an end. Demon Slayer Season 4, we're finally here. Now, if you couldn't tell already, I am a pretty big fan of Demon Slayer, and before we get into this review of the Hashira training arc, let me just give you my background of where I am as a Demon Slayer fan. The first season of Demon Slayer was good enough for me. Good enough as in it kept my interest to continue watching the show. I definitely have my issues with it, namely Tanjiro versus Lower Moon 5, but I overall enjoyed the season. The Mugen Train movie in Season 2, however, now that's where I feel like the real shit begins. Both are great, with excellent setups and payoffs, as well as the fact that I think sidelining Zenitsu and Inosuke is probably the best for Demon Slayer, considering what I've heard from the fans and just like people who've watched the anime in general don't like Zenitsu as a character, even though I personally disagree. And of course, the animation is phenomenal. I mean, this wouldn't be a Demon Slayer video if I wasn't talking about the amazing animation. Like, the colors really enhance the scene. Especially the Tengen versus Gyutaro fight. Like, that shit was peak. So, like any loyal anime fan, I waited patiently for Demon Slayer Season 3, but I guess I just couldn't wait any longer because I said to myself, screw it, I'm just gonna read the manga. So there I was reading the Demon Slayer manga, and after finishing all 206 chapters, my ultimate thought about it was, oh no. I had my speculations and worries for the future of Demon Slayer. It also doesn't do it any favors that I did not like the ending. I'm not going to spoil it for obvious reasons, but I'll just say this. Through the very near end of Demon Slayer, lower your expectations and don't expect anything too big or crazy to happen. And unfortunately, my worries came into fruition when Season 3 was finally released. It was, Yeah, I think everybody collectively agreed that this was the weakest season of Demon Slayer by far. Not to say that it's bad by any means, it definitely has its series of great moments such as Tanjiro's big flaming red sword and how he cuts down 4 upper moons all at once. But overall, this season was really lackluster, and I think the biggest problems that people had with this season was the pacing, as well as the 2 new upper moons that we have this time around. Hantengu and Gyoko weren't nearly as threatening as Daki and Gyutaro. Like, Daki and Gyutaro felt like actual threats. Tanjiro and friends felt like they were in actual danger. Here, it just felt like they were going through the motions and having a literal cat and mouse chase scene. The issue with the pacing is that it is all over the place. The ratio of Muichiro's screen time to Mitsuri's screen time is like 3-1. Plus, the whole thing about Tanjiro being able to use the basics of thunder breathing is such baloney. Ugh, oh shit, I tripped and now I got a late cramp. How do I catch up to the bad guy? Oh, wait a minute, I just conveniently remember something that Zenitsu taught me about the basics of thunder breathing. That would have helped me a lot at literally any other time in the season. Also, I'm not sure how hot of a take this is gonna be, but here I go. I think Nezuko should have died in this season. Like, okay, hear me out. I think that her dying would have been a big impact to the story, and it would have affected Tanjiro's character in a lot of ways, and make him go down a road that I personally want to see. It would have definitely broken him from his vanilla, nice guy stereotype kind of character. And now here we are at the Hashira training arc. This seems to be a pretty divisive season among Demon Slayer fans. Like, on one hand, I've heard them say, oh, it's boring, it's just characters talking, can we get to action, please? And on the other hand, I've heard them say, oh, well, it's more of a character study season, and it's more so on fleshing out the other Hashira during this whole training arc, of course. What do I think? Well, this is definitely the most different season out of the entire franchise. As in, like, it completely throws away the usual Demon Slayer formula and brings something new to the table. Oh yeah, I think I do gotta mention this. There are obviously spoilers ahead, so if you care about spoilers, then just go ahead on Crunchyroll. It's right there with 8 episodes. Or if you have read the manga, or if you have watched the season, or if you just don't care about spoilers, then move along. And also, due to the recency of this season, I can't find any like specific scenes and clips on YouTube that I can use to prove my points. So instead, I will just use panels from the manga, so I won't run into the same problem that I had while making my I'm in love with the villainous video back then. Beginning with what I like, I really love the last 2 episodes. I think everyone can agree on that. Specifically the last episode, like, Ufotable did not need to go this hard, but they did, and it truly is a beauty to watch. When Muzan first walked into the mansion, and with all the aura surrounding him, as well as every step that he takes towards Ubuyashiki, I don't think I've seen a villain with that badass of an entrance. as that. And the conversation between Ubuyashiki and Muzan was both eerie and intimidating at the same time. I think Ubuyashiki is scarier than Muzan in some ways. Ubuyashiki was just a normal man, literally on his deathbed, and yet he concocted this plan to where he would confront with Muzan and wax about life and stuff. Plant an explosive that blows up the freaking mansion in order to stop Muzan's regeneration, killing himself in the process along with his wife and 2 kids. Like, that is terrifying, okay? I'm also glad that Tamayo is finally back so that she can put an end to Muzan's schemes. Followed by Guillaume doing a sneak attack on Muzan, as well as all the other Hashira rushing in, plus Tanjiro to gang up on Muzan. Like, that is the perfect build-up. And with the big cliffhanger of like all the Hashiras plus Tanjiro and the other Demon Slayers falling into the Infinity Castle, this is probably the most hyped Demon Slayer moment since Tengen vs. Gyutaro, and I am all here for it. And for the cherry on top, Muzan says Tanjiro's name for the first time in the entire series instead of just the boy with the earrings, because it just shows you that, like, yeah, shit gets serious here. Man, do I want that trilogy right now. Okay, moving along from all the amazing Muzan and Ubuyashiki scenes, episode 7 was also great in its own right as well. We have Guillaume's backstory, Zenitsu being serious for the first time, as in like serious with his eyes open. You know how I said earlier that I was worried for the future of Demon Slayer? Well, I think for now, Ufotable pat me on the back and say, don't worry, I got you. Now, outside of these 2 episodes, did the other 6 have anything good to offer? Meh. I mean, I like episode 2 well enough. I like that it gave us an extension on Sabito's character from season 1. Now that I think about it, it does have a lot of ties to season 1 in general. So I felt like this season is like an overall like package, well-rounded package for the whole show, because from here on out, we're only doing movies. And you know what? I appreciate that. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention the opening. It is a banger, okay? I am one to believe that all Demon Slayer openings are bangers. Yes, I said all of them, including Season 3. Come at me. Anything else that I liked from this season? Well, I guess that I do kind of like to see the other Hashiras and how their breathing styles work in their training sessions. That's cool, I guess. And, yeah, no, I think that's about it. Let's just get into the stuff that I didn't like about this season. So, you know how people's main complaints in Season 3 was the pacing? Well, unfortunately, this season doesn't do any favors. In fact, I think the pacing is at its absolute worst here in the Hashira training arc. The consistency of each Hashira training session is just terrible. Like, one episode you get about Tengen's training session, then the next episode is about Muichiro's training session, then the next one you expect it to be all about Mitsuri's training session. Nope, Mitsuri's training session was only about 5 minutes. Then you move on to Obanai, and you thought, okay, maybe it's all about Obanai. Nope, Obanai was just 15 minutes. Then you move on to Sanami, and like, okay, maybe Sanami. Nope, 10 minutes. And then you move on to Guillaume, which has 2 whole episodes about his training session, and then you just go, oh my god, this is so messy. Now, frankly, the manga also did have this same pacing issue, and I'd argue it's even worse here. So, you know what? I'll just say it sucked in the manga and it sucked in the anime. Now, about the whole thing to where it's just characters talking and there is little action in this season, it wasn't terrible. Like, I wasn't bored by any of these, but you can definitely feel there are some times to where it is just dragging its ass through and through. A good example of that would have to be episode 3, which is by far the worst episode of Demon Slayer. Like, I can definitely feel to where it's just countless pointless dialogue all throughout the entire thing. And from what I've heard people say, this whole episode was just like adapted in half a page or so. Yeah, you can definitely tell they didn't have much material to work with this season. Also, I know this is a nitpick, but I really do not like how the background characters are designed. They all have the same hair color and same eye color. The only thing different about them is their hairstyles, and it just made me went like, come on guys, you could have been a bit more creative with that. It just makes Tanjiro stick out like a sore thumb. One thing I will never forgive this season, however, is how much they blue ball us with the usage of Zenitsu and Inosuke. They finally return after a full season. They make this big, epic, grand entrance in the first episode, and yet neither of them appeared again until episode 5. Yes, I know the manga also had this issue too, but I was hoping the anime could improve on this aspect, but nope. Aside from that, yeah, I think I'm done here. Really, there is not much to talk about because this is a very short arc. I mean, I know this is a setup arc to the big finale to where there is going to be tons of action. So until that happens and we get our trilogy of movies, I will be sitting comfortably in the hype Mugen train of Demon Slayer. All in all, Demon Slayer Season 4 gave me the exact same feeling about Season 1, in that it is just good enough. You haven't lost me yet. I'm still going to watch you, especially knowing what happens later. But I will say that this is better than season 3 as an overall package because the last two episodes definitely carry the season. But I would say it's right under season 1 if I were to rank these. Well, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go through hell.
Hey,